First thing we need to get is what?
Mastery.
So mastery is about plugging the holes. Okay, here's the problem. I've helped people build businesses, and when I was naive and young, and 9 years ago when I started, someone said to me, David, we don't need any of that stuff, we just need more leads. Who needs more leads in their business? How about if I convince you that you actually need less leads? By the end of tonight I will show you how most people have too many leads. That's their problem. You need less leads, because what they need is mastery. And so I went to this engineering company and they said, yeah, we just need more leads for our salespeople. I said, fantastic, and I got a sales book out and I got a marketing book out and we created a letter, we did all these things. Started selling more. 2 weeks later he goes, it's fantastic, we're making more sales. I said, great, how's the bank account looking? He said, not so good. I said, what do you mean? It's going down. Has anyone ever had this experience? You grow and your bank account goes down. A couple of reasons for that. One of them is a thing called the cash gap. The second reason is probably worse. You don't know how profitable you are on every sale. And what we realised, we started looking at the numbers, we realised that, I said, when was the last time you put your prices up? He goes, oh, we don't put our prices up. I said, why? He goes, oh, because all our customers, we've had them for years. And we set a price with them when they started, 6 years ago. And we did some analysis, we worked out that he was running at minus 2% profit. So by doubling his sales, guess what we did? We made sure he was going broke twice as quick. So we sort of had to go backwards, back to mastery. Now mastery is an area of the business that most people don't spend enough time in. And mastery is about a couple of things. It's about making sure that you deliver a profitable, if you look at your notes it says a commercial enterprise. It means that you've actually mastered your skill of your business you deliver. There's 4 areas we need to focus on in here. The first one is going to be, can you read that? Money. See, money mastery is a big one. And what I mean by money mastery, you need to know how profitable you are. That was the lesson I got from this engineering company, is I said, you know what, next time we start a marketing campaign, before we do it, let's work out how profitable you are on what you're selling. So, here's an important point. Now, some people have this nailed. Other people, it glazes over when you look at profit and loss and balance sheet. There's always a couple, right? I used to be the same, until I realised that it's important. But it's only as important as one other thing. So there's 2 parts to money mastery. The first thing you need to do is you need to have a budget. You need to have a budget. Now money mastery, I think you go to page 8, we've got some space for this. There's 2 parts to money mastery. The first one is budgeting, the second part is reporting. This is where your accountant needs to start delivering you monthly profit and loss and balance sheet. And when you look at it, you have to understand what to expect. Because if you don't know what to expect, it becomes meaningless. Does that sort of make sense? Who's had this experience? You look at your profit and loss, it says you made a profit, you look in the bank account, it ain't there. Anyone know where it is?
Taxman.
No idea? Taxman? It's usually in 1 or 2 places. It's in debtors, people owe you money, or it's in stock. Right? So it actually shows up on the balance sheet. But most people don't understand how these 2 things work together. You need an accountant to explain to you how to read these things, because this is like the dashboard to your business. The profit and loss and balance sheet don't lie, but most people don't know how to read it. Is everyone with me on this? Okay. So, another thing we need to think about is this. Everyone got that? Let me go through this quickly. You've got a space to draw this out, but if you think about your business, you have 2 kinds of expenses. What are they? Fixed and variable. Yeah. So fixed expense, this one here, the red line, is a fixed expense. It stays the same every month. What's an example of fixed expense? Wages. What else? Rent. Electricity. So anything that you pay every month regardless of a sale is considered a fixed expense. Does that make sense? Okay, so then we have this purple line. Variable expenses. What's an example of variable? Materials. What else? Fuel. No. Fuel's actually considered fixed. Here's the definition. A fixed cost is a cost you incur regardless of a sale. A variable cost is a cost you incur because of a sale. Materials? Variable. Distribution? Variable. Contractors? Variable. Does that make sense? Commissions to salespeople is variable, but their base wage is fixed. Everyone with this? So we add these 2 lines together, the purple and the red, and we get this yellow line, which is total expenses. The more we sell, the more our expenses go up because of the variable. Everyone with me so far? Yes. Pretty simple. Okay. So here's where it gets interesting. This blue line is actual sales of the business. So what happens is our first sale we run, there's a gap between the yellow line and the blue line, which is called what? Loss. Make a loss, okay? Because we haven't made enough to cover our expenses. Everyone with me on this? When these two lines cross over, there's an interesting thing that happens. Anyone know what the term is for that? It's called a break-even. Oops, slightly missed, but it's meant to be there. So the break-even point is the crossover point. Everyone with me on that? Now, how many people know their actual break-even point in their business right now? Can I show hands? Okay, there's a few. How many people know it daily? Okay, 1, 2, okay, excellent, excellent. So there's a couple in the room. Why do you think this is such an important number to know?
It's the way you run your business on a daily basis.
Because what it tells you is when you start making real cash. Because here's the bit most people do not understand. As soon as you hit break-even, what starts to happen? Start to make a profit. Now here's the important part to notice. The gap between the expense line and the revenue line gets bigger and bigger as you sell more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the more you sell, the more profit you make percentage-wise as well. Not just dollar-wise, percentage-wise as well. So most people, this is their typical end result for the year. They get to the end of the year, they look at their profit and loss balance sheet and go, we made it. Just. And they hope there's some left to pay themselves. Because they pay themselves last. Now, you'll notice I said up here, are you budgeting for a profit? Because most people don't budget for a profit. What they do is they budget for their expenses. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make sure that we pay ourselves profit? We make profit an expense. Everyone with me on this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if profit's an expense, should it be fixed or variable? It should be fixed. It should be one of those things you pay every month. It should be the first thing you pay every month. You should pay yourself first, then you pay everyone else. How much do you pay yourself? A fixed amount, because that way it doesn't depend on what's left. What happens is how much you sell in that month will depend on what's left. Because now you've got creditors calling saying, where's my money? Oh, dude, I better get some. So I paid myself first. Everyone with me so far? Yeah.
David, when you pay yourself first, doesn't that become part of your fixed costs?
Thank you. Very interesting, right? An accountant would say that's not where it goes. It's profit. Profit is the result. What you've just said is exactly what I would teach you to do as a business owner. Turn your profit into a fixed expense, budget for it, anticipate how much you want to make, and make sure you take it out at the start of the month. Because isn't it interesting how we always make enough to pay our bills? So imagine if you had a bill to yourself. All of a sudden you'd start making more money. Now you don't have to believe me, but I can tell you that it works.
You just gotta have the balls to do it.
You got to have the balls to do it. Because isn't it true that you always manage to cover your expenses?
Yep.
Everyone in business, true? You always manage to or you wouldn't be here today. Right? So imagine if you build in an expense called profit. Because here's the irony, when you stop paying yourself that profit, you'll absorb that money anyway. I'll give you a typical example. Some people say, have employees in their business, and they go, we'll get rid of that employee and we'll keep all that cash and we'll use it for other things. What happens to that cash? It's gone. Where did it go? I don't know, right? It just goes. Because the problem is it's not accounted for anymore. So the trick is to turn your profit into a fixed expense. Who's got a cash flow projection for their business that goes forward 6 months? Including sales. Okay, only a few, 3 out of 30. Imagine this. Every month for the next 6 months, I know exactly how much money I need to make to cover my costs, make gross profit, cover my overheads, including my salary as a fixed expense, and I can see what's going to happen. In 3 months' time, I'm going to be $8,000 short. Now, do you think I'd sleep better at night knowing in 3 months' time I have to have $8,000? It's a bit better than finding out next week when the BAS bill comes, you go, I don't have enough to pay my BAS. Because we haven't projected for it. So part of financial mastery is understanding what the cash flow is going to do so you can actually act in advance on it. Is everyone with me on this? Simple stuff, but most people don't do this. Why don't they do it? Don't understand it, haven't got time to do it, also all sorts of below the line things. The truth is, as a business owner, this is your dashboard. This is telling you what's going on in your business. You don't have it, you don't know what's going on. Called the cash gap. Now, how many people have got product in their business? Show of hands. 1, 2. Services? Okay, majority of service. So with a service-based business, this is the problem. Stock arrives in a stock-based business, but in your business, you've got employees that come to work. They come to work, they start billing you from the minute they walk in the door, yeah? That's fantastic. So you start accumulating a debt. One of the biggest killers of small business is cash flow. Right? So if you don't have a cash collection system in your business, if you don't have a way of getting money when you need it, you're going to very easily go insolvent. So cash gets received around day 120. We started paying wages from here. We've got a gap in here. It's called the cash gap. It's 90 days. Now, you need to know this number. You need to know how many days cash gap do you have.